for me to be here today. I didn't know I was coming to something like an Eagles concert, but I'm certainly happy that we have a lot of Alabama people here today. So, roll Tide. But, you know, I always have to start these off so that everybody understands that it wasn't always this way. You know, there were some times when the conditional love wasn't so good. And the conditional love being, I'm the coach and we're winning games. And I always tell this story, and it is a little bit of a true story, that the first year I was at Alabama, we lost to ULM. What does that even stand for? So I guess we've come a long way, but the story goes like this. You know, I was really down after the game, really down and out, really humiliated, really embarrassed, and we actually won like 20 games in a row in Bryant-Denny Stadium since then, until the last game. This was one of the low points, and I think this is something that we'll talk about a little bit later too, how you bounce back and overcome adversity, but that was one of the games that really humiliated the players, the program, and made everybody want to elevate the standard to another level. But when I was humiliated, met the press, going back home, driving home that night, actually stopped at a service station and needed to get gas. So I pumped my own gas, I went in to pay for it. I had my LSU National Championship ring on. So I paid the guy the gas and he says, man, that's a nice ring, what is that? And I said, that's my National Championship ring, and we're going to do the same thing here. And the guy looked at me and said, we'll never do it as long as Nick Saban is the coach. It really hasn't always been good. And, you know, I was really proud of the way our team played in the bowl game this year. And we're not really pleased with the results of the season. But I do think that there's a lesson for this season for all of us to learn from in terms of how to be successful, is that we got a little bit too used to winning and we lost the standard of excellence that we were trying to play to. So we quit playing to a standard and we started playing to try to beat the competition, and it affected the standard that we played to. So what we learned is we're only better than the other team if we're at our best. And that we all have to take ownership for making sure that everybody on the team is being their best. And I think that's what we learned in the 3 losses that we had this year, and that's how the players responded to it by how they played in the bowl game. Now, I'm going to be a little more serious with how I talk to you today, because this is supposed to be a motivation seminar, and I think that motivation is all about character and attitude and who you are. You know, we all have someday, there's one of these things that sort of is our legacy. And it's, we were born on a certain date, and there's a dash in the middle, and then the one thing that we know for sure, none of us are going to get out of here alive. So what happens at the end? But the thing that's most important is the dash. You know, what makes the dash what it is? Who are you? What do you stand for? What do you believe in? How do you do things? What kind of pride and performance do you have? And, you know, there's a great example with Julio Jones, you know, one of our players who was an outstanding player. Played a lot of great football. But, you know, 3 years go by so fast.